space, but when I look at this creek, my baby, it's kind of a representation of us in general at many given moments. This, to me, is presence. When you achieve that moment of I am, and you begin to feel the vibration of the universe, there's a calmness, and there's a stillness. Yet within us is this constant reverberation. A vibrational flux. But then if you look on the outskirts of the creek, when storms come rushing through and the water levels rise 5, 10, 15, I've seen it as high as almost 25 feet to the top of those levees over there. The cup it almost spilleth over, but it never does quite. I mean, it's just the perfect example of even when someone can attain the I am and then push beyond the veil into the no self, into gnosis, a knowing of nothingness. You can still look at the surface or the edges of a person and see they're still rigid and beat. Got a lot of extra baggage and garbage that they're carrying on the surface, but still at their core, for someone who has attained this level, there's peace, there's serenity within. But just like this water, as calm as it is, there's always still some within. Refuse, garbage, bricks, stones. But if you look deeper within yourself, even when you might trip over or get stuck on some image inside of you that feels imperfect, it feels like a hinder or a burden, keep looking deeper and deeper, and then you'll see it. these little forms of life come up and say hello. And just like my baby, beautiful boba, they will want to approach. And sometimes there are sources that might interfere from that communication. But it doesn't mean that they'll stay away completely. It just means you need to acknowledge them a little more. Be aware of them, of the life within you. I look at these little minnows. See, they approach a little bit closer, even resisting the wind's vibration on the water to come ever closer, ever closer. Sometimes you just need to sit and let what's inside approach you. Let it move closer to you, to your heart, to your core. You don't achieve some grand knowledge. You don't achieve the answer to everything when they come and approach. What you do get is to feel as them, and they get to feel as you. I recently, on Friday the 13th, December of last year, I was in my Buddhism teacher training class. We were doing a 2-hour meditation session, of which we do 20 minutes of sitting meditation, 20 minutes of walking meditation, and we rotate. Do that every 20 minutes. Movement, stillness, movement, stillness. I achieved it. And shout out Dharma Moon with David Nichtern and his staff of wonderful meditation teachers, and his son Ethan Nichtern. One of the teachers, Eric, was leading that meditation session. And I was having a pretty rough time in that session, but also an amazing moment. I went through all the stages of grief, all the resistance I possibly could have, pointing my finger every which way, belittling them, the people that introduced me to this class, shaming myself. Yet I kept persevering past these thoughts that I knew they felt like they were mine. Truly. But they were judging. And as much as I wanted to, at the time, believe that I don't judge, here I was, pissed off the money I spent for this class, the time. Duncan Trussell for introducing me into this course. And I was in so much pain. A long time ago, in high school football, I injured my back. And I always had some weird back issues. And I've been feeling it throughout this course, right in the center of my spine, a bulging disc. And that shit was flaming. And they have these rules. Felt cultic. Do these exact set of things with the group. We do it as a sangha, as a community, the third jewel. And then something broke in me. It felt so intentional of how they teach things. Again, shout out Dharma Moo. I broke out of their method and walked my own for just a brief moment. And there's God, I'm so weird. There's a thing that I do when I get an Amber Alert. I visualize and I manifest and I pray. It's like I geolocate the people in this situation, in those situations, and then I appear to them. Sometimes I plead. Sometimes I pray. A few times I have enacted a will. And always do I pray compassionately, especially for the children or child involved. And one of those Amber Alerts popped up towards the end of this session. And one of the rules of meditating is to stay in the meditation. What your intention is set at, keep going. Even if you find the purpose, the meaning to existence in life, don't stop and journal. Don't even try to hold on to it. Notice it and come back to the breathing, the feeling of the breathing in the body. Notice the thoughts, be aware of them. And just like this water flowing, let them flow. Be the earth containing the water. Don't follow the stream. Don't take a detour. Stay the path. And I broke that rule. I said, fuck that. I made a choice. What's more important for my mission? To become a Buddhism teacher trainer, start monetizing off of something that pushes and resists against avarice of greed, make a living off of helping others gain insights, discover more of themselves, become more wise. This was the end of the course. This was 2 or 3 sessions before it was to be done. And I would get my certificate. But I broke free of their way, of their teaching. And when I heard that Amber Alert go off, I just was like, no, this thing that I do every time is more important than anything that I'm doing here with this Sangha. This is a personal journey, decision I made, an intention I had set. And then, instead of going into non-thinking presence, I did my manifest or imaginative prayer, sent myself to the location of the kidnapper and the child in some silver Hyundai or some shit. I pleaded to them with a little bit of knowledge provided. I know the staff was watching on. They saw me break right in the middle of the sitting meditation. Might have judged me. I might have been the only person in Texas, so I might have been the only one receiving that Amber Alert. So they didn't see me breaking and looking at my phone, saying, ah ha ha, you're addicted, judge, judge, judge. And I'm judging now, because they might not have even thought that. It's just in my head. But I didn't care. And then as we're doing the walking meditation, I found myself circling around this little spot in my apartment, circling around my phone, from which we were doing, it was a class over Zoom, and I started doing the perimeter of my whole apartment instead for the walking meditation. And then something inside me started happening. I became angry, resentful. There was all this built up tension and vibration. I was so mad at them and myself for resisting who I am, to be like them. So egoic. It is so egoic of me. But then, as I'm sitting here, there's this dichotomy, there's this division in me of the more angry I got at everybody and everything for being in that moment right there, feeling like this is a fucking waste of time, the more joy that overcame me, the more love, the more connected I began to feel this true bridge binding me to all of them, to everything, living and non-living. animate and inanimate. And it was as if this center within me began to shed, like filing down this calloused skin over my spirit. And it was beautiful. I couldn't stop smiling. I couldn't stop absolutely loving everybody and everything. And the more this shedding and filing down of this coarseness within me, it wasn't as if I was letting go of anger. It was as if it was beginning to not exist at all. That this was just some other frequency I was picking up on. And there was one last sitting meditation. There was something still messing with me. The pain I was feeling. And one of the rules of this class, it's not like a Zen Buddhism, it's a Tibetan one where they're very good about, if you become too uncomfortable, follow your body, listen to it. Don't push yourself into extreme pains. And I was in extreme pain, to the point where my mind began racing. And I went from this shedding, disappearing form of non-existent anger and love being replaced by love, and then now physical pain, to the point where my mind is trying to tell me, like, oh my God, you're back. This is a bursted disc, and this could lead to serious injury. This could blah 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 blah. Oh, it hurts too much. No, this isn't right. And I fucking kept pushing, keeping my spine straight. And I just needed like one distraction. Someone say something, anything besides my own freaking mind babbling at me at how much pain I'm in right now. My feet are numb from the blood circulation cut off my spine. Feels like it's on fire and it's about to burst out. And then this one last quote was read to us by Eric. I don't even remember it. It was from the Ethan Nichtern's book. But it did something to me. It activated something inside of me, where I pondered on the words for maybe 20 seconds. And I'm still in so much pain. And I can't stop focusing on it. And then it happened. It all went away. Every last bit of it. There was no pain. There was no anger. There was no fear. There wasn't even love. There wasn't even compassion. It was just me in this void. It's as if I was there, not thinking of the being there. I was just there in this serenity of nothingness. Sat with me. And then I heard those words. Strangely enough, they were beginning through the voice of Eric, his teacher for this 2-hour session of meditation. And then it slowly evolved into a female voice. And then when I repeated back to them through a personal statement, it was my voice. And then something else. It wasn't even a voice. It was as if speaking through feeling. And I achieved it. And then I got to ask a few questions to this thing that was somehow both me and everything. And nothing. And not in a black and white kind of way. No, it was a spectrum of all color, balled up into one. There was no question beyond one. Were you the teacher from that one dream? It said no. I was the other one. And I knew from the void in which I'm looking at, it was the same color of eyes, that baby otter that came to me, the myriad of them with baby seals, and that ocean shore. I said, step into the water, you have nothing to fear. Step into life, you have nothing to fear. It was that entity. And I asked it, is this it? Is this what I've been looking for? Yes. Will others be able to feel this, to know this? Yes. How? And all will feel this. All will have their moment. Most choose it at the time of death. To know this, to be this, to experience this rest. And fewer still will come to know this as you have and will. Alive. And for those that do this and come to this while alive, they are the ones that can take their first steps truly into life while living. I don't know if my journey can help people. And I know it's egoic of me to share and think, oh, I can share with people my suffering, so that they understand that they're not alone in this. You've never been alone. You are the universe. I am the universe. We are the universe experiencing itself. You've just forgotten. To become begotten, you have to remember. There are many right now that do not want us to remember. A lot of old men dying really hard. They want to play as the fire. I have been the fire. They know not of the waters. I am the waters. They want to crush and frack and steal of the earth and destroy it. I am the earth, and they cannot break me. They wish to replace earth with wind and claim to know that they know more of it than I. I am the wind. Girlfriend. This meditation, it awakened the spirit in me. There's so much to share, and yet nothing at all. Thank you, Muse. I know this is a long video, you guys. If you stayed around, if you use it for some ASMR to relax, open your mind a little bit, amazing. If you turned away after 10 seconds and said, fuck this, I 100% understand. I have ADHD, and if I were listening to me, I'd probably get bored as well. But hey, it's my baby step. I'm not ever gonna try and figure this shit out. I'm done trying to analyze all this and using any excuse I can to not just be here now.